Underwriting deals is such a major pain point for people. Most don't want to do it, and the people that are good at it are few and far between. That is why after 6 years of being in the industry and buying over 1,200 apartments, using my best-selling multifamily deal analyzer, I created Real Estate Lab, a full suite acquisition software for multifamily investors. We have built a product that helps investors automate their acquisitions and close more deals, all in a cloud-based platform. You can go to realestatelab.com and sign up today using the promo code TAG2 for 10% off your first 12 months. This is David Tupin. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the Apartment Gurus, where we dive deep into all things multifamily investing. Our mission is to educate, inspire, and empower real estate investors to reach their highest potential. Each week, host Tate Siemer and co-host Chelsea Garber interview high-level guests from all over the industry who are sure to bring valuable, actionable ideas that will propel your business to the next level. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned investor, you are in the right place. And now your hosts, the Apartment Gurus, Tate Siemer and Chelsea Garber.
Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the Apartment Gurus, formerly the Apartment Guys podcast. We've rebranded and are making the shift to the Apartment Gurus, and we're super excited about that. And I'm really excited to have our guest on today. His name is Todd Heitner. He's with Apartment Investor Pro. And he's been helping investors, syndicators like us, tap into the power of the internet for 18 plus years. And he does that through offering a really robust and complete website development service. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about this. You know, these automated done for you type systems and processes can be incredibly valuable and can help so that you're not reinventing the wheel and you're outspending your hard-earned time doing other things that move the needle in your business. So, Todd, super stoked to talk to you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. You're coming to us from Central Pennsylvania, home of the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, that's right.
And of course, I'm coming to you guys from Utah, which is home base for us here at Greenlight. So Todd, I'd love to hear a little bit about you and kind of your backstory and how Apartment Investor Pro came together and, how you kind of got to where you are today.
Sure. Yeah. I started out doing just web design in general, kind of, over 20 years ago. And, but I started working with a real estate investor who, was teaching people how to invest. And so I started building websites for his students and kind of built a little niche there, which we've been doing for the past 18 years. But then for the past 8 years specifically, we really focused on multifamily syndicators. Because we saw, a lot of people struggle with that. They maybe try to do it themselves. They go to some kind of like online tool to try to build it themselves. And they realize it's a bigger job than they realize. And then they, got to write all this content and they get stuck, a lot of times. Like one person I talked to said he spent 10 months building his website because it's like he's, either going to do that and abandon the rest of your business, or you're going to focus on the website and abandon, it's just like you only have so much time. So, we try to make a turnkey solution where people can get set up, quick with that. We have the design, the content, everything. They just sign up, plug in their company name, and they're ready to go. So, so that's what we focused on for the last 8 years or so, because it is such an important part of a syndicator's business, and their reputation, their online credibility, basically,
Yeah, I mean, a website's like the shingle that you hang out in the intrawebs, so to speak, for your business. And those first impressions are so key and so important. And you want to have your website dialed. And we had ours professionally developed and designed. I am a huge believer in hiring and outsourcing these sorts of things, the things that I don't do well. I'm not a web designer. I'm not a programmer, and I do write content for our website. That's absolutely crucial for my role as CEO of Greenlight. But any minute that I spend on actually developing the website is a wasted minute in my life. And so I'm just a massive believer in hiring someone like Apartment Investor Pro to put your website together for you. And look, this is all they do, right, Todd? I mean, this is it.
Yeah, that's it.
So you guys spend all day, every day doing this stuff. You know what investors are looking for. You know the market. You know what syndicators are looking for. You know what's effective, what works, and you know what doesn't work. So to me, this is like hitting the fast forward button in your business by 8-10 months at least that it would take to develop a good website, especially if you didn't really know what you're doing. So I think it's super exciting, Todd, what you offer. In all candor, this is the first time our paths have crossed. So I haven't had a chance to look at your services before, but I'm excited to follow up with you and check out sites and all that stuff. We feel like we've got a pretty good website, but we're always open to improvement. And so I'm looking forward to it. I would also add that as important as your website is and your business cards and your company profile kit, all that stuff's really important. The flip side of it is it's kind of not that it's not as important as would render you spending 8 months on it.
Right.
It's not even close to, even 8 weeks or 8 days. Those are days that are wasted where you could be out meeting investors, viewing properties, writing LOIs, honing your systems and processes, building your team. Those are all things that move the needle in your business. And while a killer website is very, very important, especially to your branding and your credibility, it's not necessarily a needle mover. It's not going to develop a relationship for you. So again, just more reason to outsource this stuff, in my opinion. Would you agree, Todd?
Oh yeah, definitely. Even in our business, I don't touch our website. I have decades of experience doing it, but when we need to update something, I get somebody on our team to do it, because as the business owner, that's not a good use of my time. I need to be building relationships. I need to be, providing leadership. I need to be doing these other things that nobody else on my team can do, or that I can't, hire somebody to do. Those are things where I need to spend my time. But the website, I can get somebody else to do that. And that's kind of, the same thing. There's stuff in your business that only you can do. You can only, build the relationships with investors and find the deals and, build a relationship with brokers and things like that. Yeah. It's that's where, only you can do that. But anything else that, it doesn't have to be you, I suggest outsourcing it so you can really focus in on, what you need to be doing. Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah. And, my company, Greenlight, we have a VA who's a very talented graphic designer on retainer. So, we pay him a certain amount per month, and it's not a small amount of money, but he basically does anything and everything related to graphic design needs for us. And it's key. It's key to be able to send him an email and say, I need this done, know that it's going to get done, and not have to spend any more time on it myself.
Right.
So, this comes back to the concept of leverage, and leverage is a magical element of being an apartment investor, whether you're leveraging other people's money, other people's track record, net worth, liquidity. If you're recruiting a sponsor for your deals, you're leveraging debt against a purchase price that, you don't have to pay the whole price cash. You're taking a piece of debt and leveraging it. So leverage is all over this game. And I think the name of the game with entrepreneurship in general is leverage. You want to get you're the one pulling the strings. You're the producer of the show, and you're the director of the show as well. So you're just coordinating, right? You're the hub that makes everything work. And the minute that you get into the spokes and get bogged down in the spokes of the wheel, that's where the hub starts to get neglected, and then you're in trouble. So, or if you're not in trouble, you're just not producing anything. So yeah, I just think this whole concept is so key.
Yeah, definitely. I try to automate anything in my business, or outsource whatever, or delegate whatever I can, because you only have so much time, and you have to make sure it's on those I mean, we all know about the 80-20 rule. You have to spend your time on the 20% that produces 80% of the results, and
that's right.
All that other 80% outsource or delegate or whatever, or get it off your plate somehow.
Yeah. And I don't want to belabor this point. I have a number of other things to ask you about, but I would just say that like that 80-20 rule is so key. And the 20, in my opinion, the 20% activities in this business are viewing properties, touring properties, meeting brokers, nurturing those relationships. Anything you're doing in broker relations is 20% activity. Obviously, raise anything related to raising capital, meeting investors, talking to investors, going to meetup groups, going to masterminds, being coached, like having a coach and spending time in that. And I could go on with the 20% activities. Those are the needle movers, right? That's what's going to help you get deals done, which is all that matters at the end of the day in this business, is that you're getting deals done. So awesome stuff, Todd. Let me ask you about a few things. So, we talked before we started recording, and you really are able to help investors identify holes in their capital raising process and close them up to increase conversions. I'm curious, can you kind of share with us a little bit more about that and how your services contribute to that?
Sure. Yeah. It's all part of your overall marketing plan, but one part of it is your credibility. Like when you meet a potential investor, if they're serious, probably the first thing they do when they get home is they're going to Google you, and they're going to see what comes up. They're going to see, is there something there professional? Because I know some people I've talked to say, well, I think I'll wait till I get my first deal to set up a website. But, you're kind of making it a lot harder for yourself to get that first deal. Even if you're raising money from friends and family, having something credible that you can show them kind of lets them see that you are serious about this, and that'll help them feel more comfortable, investing with you. But even in the brokers too, I mean, they're also checking you out. They're trying to see, like, is this person going to waste my time, or are they serious? And so they're also going to probably Google you. One syndicator I was talking to said he was contacting brokers, and he kept asking me, put me on my list, send me deals, and he wasn't getting anything at all. But he had no website, and he was using a free Yahoo email account. And he said, when he put up a website and branded email that he started using, he said it was like a switch was flipped. And so the deals started coming in, and obviously it's not going to happen like that for everybody, but it does make a difference to, the credibility that you're projecting, and just thinking about all those things that people are seeing and what they're going to find when they look for you. But of course, like you're saying, like a website in itself is not enough. I mean, it's part of your overall marketing plan. And so, like, you have to think through, like, what happens after someone makes contact with you. So maybe they do go to your website and they fill out a form. Well, then what happens? Do you have a process in place that takes them through, like nudging them gently toward becoming an investor? A lot of times we call it a marketing funnel. So I'm familiar with that phrase. Might look like something, like having a free report or something on your website, something they can sign up for. And then once they get that, they put in their name and email. Then you get you put them in like a CRM or email marketing system that, puts them on your mailing list. Maybe have a series of emails that they get over a period of time that kind of educates them and warms them up to you, and start building that relationship. Essentially, is what it is. And then, keeping in touch with them regularly, sending out a monthly newsletter or something like that, sharing valuable information so that you're staying in front of them, basically. So, basically, if you don't have all those things in place, you're kind of letting good investors pour through the holes and losing them.
Yeah. I mean, that's really well said. So just to recap, listeners, like, number one, you want to be branding yourself, and you want to do that early in the process. Like Todd said, as far as, before you start raising capital for your first deal, ideally you have a marketing funnel. Like Todd said, we sometimes refer to that as like a click funnel, or, the piece that you put out there, the downloadable ebook or whatever that is. You basically make that your click magnet, is what that's often referred to as. That's what's basically going to cause a potential investor to click. They're going to have to enter their contact information at some level. And then the beautiful thing about your service and your website website options is that they're integratable into different CRMs. And we were talking again before the recording that you typically people are using ActiveCampaign, which is what we use. And it's a very, very robust automated email and CRM system. It's kind of 2-in-1. And we love it. And we're just barely scratching the surface of its capabilities. But, so that's one thing to note is that Todd's website, the website that you would get from Todd's company, Apartment Investor Pro, would be something that would integrate into your CRM, which is totally key. And then the other piece that it would integrate with is your investor portal, which is also very key. When you actually have a deal that you're raising for, your investor portal is where the investors go to make a commitment to invest. It's where they go to get the important documents that they need to review. A lot of times they get paid through the portal on their returns. It's really, they have a dashboard that they can check their investment on. So those are like the three pieces that are kind of going to be working together through this hub, this website that Todd offers. So I'm sure you've thought of everything, Todd. Like you've probably seen all the CRMs and all the investor portals, but I guess speak a little bit to the integrations.
Yeah, I mean, we have customers using a lot of different things. We've, some. I mean, I thought I knew all of them pretty much, but then someone will come to us and say, "I'm using this thing and I've never heard of it." But there's usually a way to integrate with it. So we always work with our customers and find a way to do it. But all the major ones that you've probably heard of, like we've got people using all of those, and so like you said, like ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, HubSpot. There's a bunch of them, and then all the investor portals. There's a bunch of those too. I mean, pretty much all of them that I know of, somebody's using them. So definitely integrates well with that.
This may not be a fair question to some of their competitors, but do you have any recommendations on CRMs and investor portals?
I do like ActiveCampaign for the CRM side of it. Some of the investor portals actually have like a CRM built in. We're actually working on this. I don't have like a great recommendation on a specific one, but we're actually working on kind of doing a little series where we're going to interview some of the different owners of those companies and have them do a demo so that our audience can kind of see and compare. But I like it. I mean, like Syndication Pro, you mentioned, I met Jacob at an event. He's a really nice guy. He seems like has a solid platform. Cashflow Portal is one that's maybe a little newer, but they've made a really good impression on me. I really like the way they're doing things and the way they've got their company set up. Those are a couple of the ones that came in mind. There's some others though that are out there like Groundbreaker and Juniper Square and Investor Deal Room. There's some other good ones out there too.
Invest Next is one.
Invest Next. Yeah, that's another one.
Highly thought of. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I just have a call scheduled with them to do a demo of their site to their service. So looking forward to that, getting more familiar with that. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there. I think a lot of it depends on, where you're at and what they offer. Some of them are like more entry level, like you can get started a little bit easier and it maybe scales with your business. Other ones, sometimes there's like a big setup fee and like more cost to get set up. So you just kind of have to weigh that and see like, if you have a bunch of deals already too that you need to get imported in there, just factor in that cost. Some charge to do that, some don't. So just kind of, I think a lot depends on that. And then the functionality that's most important to you, like, do you want it to have its own CRM for sending out emails and things like that? Or do you have some other system you're using? So I think a lot depends on that and your comfort level with it. So.
Yeah. Awesome. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, as you see investors kind of tap out their personal network when it comes to raising capital, how do you help or how do you suggest that those investors expand their reach?
Yeah, it's a good question. That's kind of like the top of the funnel when we talk about marketing. It's like getting people into your system, and when people have tapped out their friends and family, then they've got to find other people. And so, I mean, of course, one that probably most people are familiar with is going to events. but I have noticed a lot of people show up to those without a real plan. And so, I'd suggest, whatever you're doing, have a plan for it. But like if you're going to an event, know how you're going to follow up with people and when you're going to follow up. Because like I went to an event last month and had a really interesting conversation with somebody. He had an investment opportunity that I was seriously interested in, and gave him my contact information and have kept waiting for him to get in touch, but he hasn't. So, when you get a business card, make a note on it. I would suggest like right away, who is this person? What do I need to follow up about? And then as soon as you can after the event, follow up with those. Because otherwise you end up with a stack of them. You're like, I don't know who was who, you forget, you talk to so many people.
Yeah.
Another thing is,
sorry to interrupt you. By events, you mean like national conferences type?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Those events. Yeah. And like listeners, I am absolutely huge on going to national conferences. To me, they have changed our business in huge ways. Like my partner, Chelsea, who co-hosts every other episode here with me, we met at Dealmaker Live, the Michael Blanc event in Dallas in 2019. And that just massively changed our business and made us a lot better. Just that one connection. And, a lot of times there's 600-800 people at these things, even 1,000 people. I'll just go ahead and mention a couple. Jake and Gino, they do a one called Money Mastery, and it's usually in December or November, I believe. Joe Fairless does the Best Ever Conference. Next year it's in Salt Lake City, which is exciting for me. Yeah. And then I mentioned Dealmaker Live, which is Michael Blanc's event that happened earlier this year in June. And off the top of my head, those are like kind of the essentials. Rod Cleef has some great national events. So, go to those, like spend the $1,000, or, it's probably going to, with a plane ticket and airfare and hotel room, it's going to be maybe a couple, 3,000. But like, look, if you can't invest that in a multi-million-dollar apartment syndication business, then you're probably not in the right business. And if you're not willing to invest that, then you're definitely not in the right business. And so, again, just little takeaway from this episode, go to those events. Like they are absolutely crucial. They're key, in my opinion.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I know we go to as many of them as we can. I think it went to all the ones you mentioned pretty much. So they're really, I mean, it's good for all kinds of, relationships. You never know who you're going to meet and what opportunity might present itself. So definitely recommend that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do have, so just having a plan, so the business card is also, I've noticed something a lot of people are doing now is they have these QR codes instead of a business card, and they have a scanner, which I'm not a big fan of, but if other people are using them, I suggest, what it does basically is that you scan and it puts their contact information in your phone, but then it just gets lost in your contacts. Yeah. But what I suggest doing is making a note immediately. Either use like the company field or the notes and put in like an abbreviation for the name of that event and the year. So like Dealmaker Live, I use DML 2022. And then when you get home, you can search for that and find everybody that you met at that event. And then hopefully you also made a little note about who they were and what you want to follow up about.
You have a follow-up plan. That's again, super key, is like, if you meet an investor at an event or on the street or at a networking meeting or at a real estate investor association meeting, or, if you go to the dentist and he wants to invest, like you need to be prepared for how you're going to get that person into that top layer of your funnel.
Right.
And because that's the goal, right? Is to get them into your CRM and start automated marketing to them, getting them opportunities to invest, etc. So you need to be ready for any situation. I'm kind of preaching to myself right now, Todd, to be totally authentic. You need to be ready for any situation where you meet a potential investor and be ready to have not only follow up, but my friend Sterling White uses the term world-class follow-up. And like your follow-up needs to be exceptional. Like you need to stand out from the crowd with your follow-up. And we all have had that happen. Like we all have had, we've met somebody or somebody cold called us or they presented us an opportunity and maybe we were somewhat interested, but not really, but they just keep calling and badgering and texting and emailing and sending you direct mail. And like we've all had that happen. And guess what? That's world-class follow-up. As annoying as it might seem, it totally works, right? Because you're staying top of mind with that person. And it's really the only way to do it.
Yeah. Most people are not going to respond after the initial contact. Usually they say at least 7 points of contact before someone is ready to move forward. So
yeah,
if you don't have that, you're just, wasting, at least 80% of your effort is just being wasted because, you're not doing that follow-up. So yeah, definitely important that I know I've talked to multiple people about deals sometimes and they just, they don't follow up. And if they had, I probably would have invested with them, but it's just kind of how it, it is really important for sure. There's some other, other ways to meet new people and expand your network. Another one is like pay-per-click ads online. So there's things like Facebook ads and Google ads that you can use to tap into people that are searching online. Maybe they're looking for like alternatives to investing in the stock market or something like that. You can tap into that and get them to get them into, to your website, or, people on Facebook, based on their interest or their income levels and different things like that. You can target them. You can even advertise on different websites like, like Forbes.com or like New York Times, like the money section. You can put your ad there through pay-per-click ads. So, it's different ideas to like expand your network basically.
Yeah. My dog was going ballistic during that and I was on mute. Did you mention LinkedIn at all?
No, but that's a good one.
Yeah. So LinkedIn is kind of like, I've heard people say it's kind of like where Facebook was like 10 years ago. In that it's very, very organic. It's pretty ad free. It's kind of non-commercial. So it's like, and everybody's there, right? And especially in the entrepreneurial world, everybody's on LinkedIn. So, you can legit search for limited partners or passive investors or equity sources or, some of those terms. And like, you'll get slews of people that you can market to and contact. And I know there's classes that are specifically on raising money, raising capital on LinkedIn. Yeah. What have you seen anything like that work on LinkedIn?
I've talked to people that have done it. Like I know, like you said, I've seen people like teaching other people how to do it. And I know that, it seems like they must be successful. They seem like they're working with some of them with some pretty high level people. So I think it is where, I think there's a lot of different platforms a person could use. I've heard of people even using Instagram, and, like Grant Cardone, I've heard has raised millions on there. Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets has too. But, I think a lot of it too depends on where is the audience. Like if you're kind of targeting a specific group of people, then like what network are they using? If it's like, older investors who are retired, they're probably not going to be on TikTok.
Right.
You have to figure out like what are they using if you are targeting somebody specific, but otherwise, kind of pick a platform that where a lot of those people are and kind of focus on it. So.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, so Todd, how would listeners find out more about Apartment Investor Pro? What's the best place for them to go to learn about your services?
Yeah, really our website, apartmentinvestorpro.com. They can. There's a free demo you can check out. There's you can schedule a call if you want or whatever and get more information there.
Okay, terrific.
Yeah, so that'd be really the best source. I do have like a free resource for those that are interested in like building out a marketing funnel. It's just at apartmentinvestorpro.com/funnel, and that's just has kind of some of what we talked about, but in a little more detail if they want to build that out and see if there's anything missing in their own marketing.
Yeah. So listeners, I think the big takeaway here is like, if you don't have a website or if your website isn't just like a wow factor in your business, you need to change that. You need to shift that and make it a wow factor because it's the face of your company and it's the first face that most people see. So, Todd at Apartment Investor Pro, they specialize in making you bounce off the page, so to speak. Of course, there's other companies and services as well. There's lots of ways to skin the cat, but I would highly encourage you to go to apartmentinvestorpro.com, check out the demo, schedule a call. Like all that stuff's free. And you're going to learn a lot. If you don't end up using the service, you'll learn a lot. Just by doing the consultation. So Todd, any last words of wisdom for our listeners?
Not
I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just what we were talking about earlier, I think like you're saying about spending your, paying attention to where you spend your time, don't do things you can delegate. So whether you use us or use somebody else, whatever. Like, don't do it yourself if it's something someone else can do. So.
Yeah. And even if you're a web designer or a programmer, like if you really want to be a apartment investor or multifamily investor, do not spend your precious time on stuff that's not moving the needle in your business, especially in the beginning. It's so key that you're all in on doing the stuff that matters in the beginning and that you're outsourcing everything else. And, again, if money's a problem, like you need to look at how resourceful you're being, because there's a lot of money out there and there's a lot of partners out there and there's a lot of people that are willing to help. So, look at like, how resourceful am I, and up that part of your game. I think resourcefulness has kind of been one of my secret sauces along the way. And I just don't take no for an answer. And I know that whatever I'm looking for is out there somewhere, and it's just a matter of talking to the right person. So yeah, Todd, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to taking a deeper dive into Apartment Investor Pro and learning more. So I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, you bet. Listeners, thank you for listening to another episode of the Apartment Gurus. We're super happy to have you. If you enjoyed this episode, we always love ratings and reviews on whatever platform you're listening to on. You can write a quick review, give us hopefully a 5-star rating if you enjoyed the episode. If not, we can handle that. So without further ado, listeners, thank you. Todd, thank you. And we'll check you guys on the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Apartment Gurus with Tate Siemer. Tate and Chelsea are grateful to have you as a loyal listener. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe, rate, and review, and share with friends on your Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or any other podcast platform. Also, check out Tate's YouTube channel for videos of many of these episodes and more. Until next time, take massive action steps and rock on.